Hello from my snowy backyard. One thing I've been thinking about now that the year is starting to come to an end is all the supplies that I've purchased that I regret. Try and be really thoughtful and careful about the watercolor supplies I allow into my home and that I buy, because I'm always trying to have less and use up what I have, but I have made some mistakes. These are the supplies I really wanted to love, but for whatever reason, I can't connect to them. Okay, I just don't pick them up very much. So we're gonna see where I land with this. I'm gonna try and get to grips with this. I'm gonna show you what they are. And if you have any tips for any of these, please do let me know. And I'd be curious to also know what your least used watercolor supplies have been for this past year. Let's go back inside. It's cold out here. Oh my goodness, that is a lot better. Christmas is definitely coming. I'm starting to really get in the mood on account of the weather out there. So I think in addition to ones that I just didn't use that much, there's also ones that you just don't like. So I will include those as well in this reckoning of the unloved in my supply. When it comes to purchasing things, I can be harsh on myself and I can demand myself to be perfect. And that's pretty bad. I mean, I don't want to be that person. I just have this natural minimalist tendency. And it's ultimately, I think, unhelpful. Like that, I think, is not how you should regard making art. You have to make mistakes to get better. And sometimes that includes purchasing the wrong things. But anyhow, without any further ado, let's go into my studio/dining room and look at the supplies I'm actually talking about here. What am I doing? I forgot my hat. Okay, let me tidy up. I've got some cutouts for my collage. Let me just put these all aside. I lied, I'm just hiding them under there. Okay, let's start with paper first. This is always the most controversial subject that I talk about here. I mean, that's originally kind of how my channel, I'm not gonna say blew up, but got very popular, was with me discussing Canson XL. I think Canson XL is perfectly acceptable for complete beginners. Many people beg to differ. You can think what you like. I will not. That's not a regret for me. But in experimenting with other papers, I tried the Fabriano one, which is hard to come by in Canada. I think the only place that carries it is Dessert, but I could be wrong. It is the one with a kind of purpley blue cover. I think it's called like Fabriano 1264, and it is not 100% cotton. I didn't love that paper. And I actually chose it to take with me to art classes, and I was just very underwhelmed with it. So I will not say I regretted it, because I definitely wanted to try it, but that is one that I won't be repurchasing, and I had such high hopes for, and I was like, my goodness, I'm not finding this to be, for me, much above Canson XL. The other, I guess, regret you would call it is that I had built up arches or arch paper so high in my mind. I'm like, I'm gonna treat myself to that paper. And so I got a block of it because it was on sale. And I think the sizing had gone bad. And this has nothing to do with the quality of the paper. This is just me trying to be like frugal and waiting for a sale and then treating myself. And then ultimately I was quite, I'm gonna say, disappointed with it. Not because it's terrible. It's not terrible. It's great. But it wasn't better than Bauhong. And I was thinking that because there's that price differential, because it's a prestige brand, I would be like blown away. I thought that as soon as I started using arch paper, it would really elevate everything that I did. But I find that that already had happened with Bauhong watercolor, 100% cotton paper. Both of them are 100% cotton. So that's one that I don't know that I'll repurchase. Maybe I will. But the thing is, it's quite expensive here. Bauhong is more affordable. And for me, suits me quite well. Like, I think everything you see here is Bauhong, definitely the larger size. I bought a block of the larger size Bauhong, and I really like that larger size. So that is something I think I will be rebuying maybe in the new year when I'm ready to paint larger again, which I haven't done in a while. Okay, I popped out for a quick walk because it just feels like I have to take advantage of this snowy day because it's gonna melt really quickly. Why can't it ever snow on Christmas Day? It never does here, or at least it feels like it never does, but always when you kind of are not expecting it. This is just my local park. I live in Toronto, for those of you who don't know me, and I live in the city. Okay, so one thing you might have noticed about me is that I have a bit of a streak of like frugal minimalism in me, right? And so just to let you know, to this end, and I promise we will be back in the studio in just a minute, I have another channel. It's called Field Notes. And so I'm doing a little series on like gentle minimalism and decluttering. So if this is something that interests you, especially as we're going into the new year, I hope you join me over there. It's a brand new channel, so if you would also consider subscribing, if that's your kind of thing, that would be really cool. Let's get back inside now. So back in February, I had the opportunity to go to Portugal, and I found a little art store in Lisbon. I want to say it was in the Chiado district. I'm not 100% sure that I can remember anymore, but if anybody's interested, let me know in the comments and I'll let you know of the place that I visited if you're planning on a trip to Portugal anytime soon and you're going to be going through Lisbon. And I was so heavily influenced and I was so convinced that this little size is the best size for a Hahnemühle notebook. If you don't know Hahnemühle, I believe it's a German company and they make these delightful little watercolor sketchbooks. I think it's 100% cotton. They're so affordable in Europe. So if you are in Europe and you want to test it out, definitely worth the money. I think that this one was around 10 euros, but I got it in my head this was the size for me. And now looking back, because the prices were so good, I picked up one of this size and then I took a chance on the square size. And I was like, I don't think I like painting in a square. Nobody else really paints in a square journal that I see. It's always like portrait, right? Or landscape. And I've really done my share of, landscape shaped journals. I really thought that now moving to the portrait style was going to be my be all and end all. And it really wasn't. I regret buying this size. I wish I bought more of this size because this size I think was maybe 14 euros. And this book costs like maybe double that here in Canada. I wish I picked up multiples of this. So I guess I got influenced because I see so many people doing urban sketch or just in general painting in this shape. And while I think, it's definitely a cute size, a cute shape, so portable, fits in like a jacket pocket if you have ample pockets, whereas this definitely does not. There was such a delight in painting in a square. And what is this, Instagram? Why am I painting in a square? But then I gave it a try and I loved it. I thought it was perfect for urban sketch when I was in Portugal. This was in Lagos, a beautiful iconic green building there. If you've ever been, you've seen this building. A planter that I saw in Monchique, like just so good. So good. I'm so sorry that I only bought this one. So yeah, it was a regret of mine to just be fixated on like portrait as the ideal shape for what I wanted to do when the square for me actually is kind of where my heart lies. Oh my gosh, so funny. Okay, I did a painting of something. We'll talk about this next. Yeah, that was an unfortunate purchase and I've only used it a few times. Right, well, now that I've shown it to you, let's talk about that one. This is entirely my mistake having purchased this. This is a Tintoretto size 10 mop style brush and it's so huge. By contrast, look at my most used watercolor paintbrush. This is a Winsor & Newton size 10 round. I use this all the time. Look at the size differential between the two of them. Look at that, huh? I mean, give me a tip for using this because I hardly ever pick it up. I find it's good for like wetting a large surface area. Like if I go back to painting on a huge bow honk and I want to do the whole background, that's going to be the tool for me. But anything smaller, it's just overkill. And it's my own fault because I was trying to research this online and I was kind of trying to like make up an order and get to like a minimum shipping amount. If you know, you know. That's a slippery slope to be on. And I was like, I really need a mop style brush. The size looks good, but ultimately it's just too big. So that's on me. That's not on anybody else. There's nothing wrong with this as a brush. I just made a mistake, but I'm kind of upset with myself because I'd love to be using this regularly. I just have not found a place for it in my practice. And if that carries on, what do I do? Do I keep it? Do I give it away? Do you think that some point down the line I will find use for it and I should just hang on to it? I probably should just hang on to it. Okay, another regret is in the pen realm, if you do like ink and wash. This is because I got influenced by watching people, and if you realize something, seems to be a repetitive theme where I just keep saying like, I was kind of influenced to buy this and it didn't work out for me, and that's okay. These are all relatively inexpensive things, but I don't know. If I had known better, I just wouldn't have bought it. And that is, and I've made a whole video about this, the green Sailor Fude pen. And if you're just strictly into watercolor and you don't do any ink, you probably don't know what I'm talking about. But if you do urban sketch, my goodness, I know you've seen this pen everywhere. Everybody has an opinion on it. And it does very thick lines. So I'm gonna do a very thick line for you, and people love it for that quality. But for me, it's just too thick. So theoretically, it lets you just do something thin. Forgive me, it's not the easiest to write, but then it allows you to do these extremely thick lines too, if that's your vibe. People love that it lets you do such a variety of different line widths. It can go even wider than that. I'm just like, whenever I'm trying to demonstrate this pen, It never goes as wide as it does after the fact. It's like it's got stage fright. It's so funny. By contrast, so that was the 55-degree bent angle. I love actually instead the 40, which is this brown pen, which I don't ever see anybody talking up. But while this was kind of a regret for me, this was like a must-have. This one now is ink shy as well. This one by contrast does not get quite as wide. The lines do not get quite as wide here. I'm sorry, I'm not doing a great job because I'm just trying to like keep this to not being a 1-hour video, but you'll have to just trust me or watch the comparison video I did on these two pens. This one for me is more versatile. I can use it for journaling. I can just use it for a variety of stuff. This one, the line quality is just very thick. I can't handwrite with it very well, or rather I don't like the way that it looks when I handwrite. Okay, I don't have an example, but as I said, I do have that in-depth comparison video where I talk about why I like the 40-degree much more than the 55-degree. The good thing though is they're very inexpensive, so it wasn't a big deal from that standpoint. I think you can actually buy a 2-pack if you're interested in buying both. Back to paper or back to sketchbook, watercolor journals. I don't know if it's like I'm gonna say it's a regret. It's a regret because ultimately I didn't love this size, and that is the large Strathmore watercolor journal. But let me tell you, if you want to do a very, very wet, these are not that wet, but let me find a really wet one. Yeah, this used a lot of water. So if you want to do something that uses a lot of water, this is a really nice sketchbook. And if you want to do like a large size, many watercolor books are large, like the studies inside of them are large, not all, but sometimes you come across that. In that case, it is nice, but I found it just very large. I didn't really want to take it with me anywhere. I found that if you're like here, like in the beginning part of it, it stays nice and flat. If you're at the end part of it, it stays nice and flat. But when you're in the middle, it like aggressively wants to shut on you all the time. And so I needed to use bulldog clips, and then it would slip out of the bulldog clips, and then I had to use like books to weigh it down. Anyhow, it was kind of a ridiculous problem, but I just found it kind of awkward to work in. So I will not be repurchasing that size. By contrast, the smaller one was actually quite handy to take with me. Also likewise holds a ton of water. This is a page I made a mistake on. I went over it again, and then I added gouache, and look, despite like having been absolutely soaked, I'm not sure how well you're gonna see that, but it's really not that wavy, all things considered. So excellent sketchbooks. These are the Strathmores. Excellent watercolor sketchbooks if you're like painting with a lot of water, but that's not always me. So it's a little bit of an overkill situation. So I don't think I'll rebuy this large size, but I would rebuy this landscape size. Those of you who've seen maybe some other videos know that I'm a huge fan of Roman Szmal paints. And if you don't know Roman Szmal is a living paint maker based in Poland. Apparently he's a nice man as well from what other people have reported here on YouTube, and he's good fun. I just love his paints. I love to buy singles. I stick them in this Altoids tin that's used up because this is my mom's favorite mint. So when she's done, she always has lots of tins to give me. And I just enjoy the practice of picking out the ones that I want and trying them and just getting them like one at a time. But, ooh, my head was turned. You ever see something in the world of watercolor that is just highly collectible? See, that's the thing about watercolor that I think makes it a little different from other art forms, and you'll have to tell me if you agree or disagree. A lot of it has like this candy-like appeal. The watercolor little half pans themselves, they look like candy, just displayed there on the shelves. And boy, when I saw this, I was like, I really want that. It's so cute, and I think I'm gonna love it. Well, I definitely wanted it. It was definitely cute, but I'm not sure that I love it. I'm still trying to get to grips with it. And that is the Urban Sketch set that comes in this color and lots of other cute colors. I think I've seen it in gold and all kinds of just super cute packaging in these little tins. It's even got the little ring there for holding it. Have I used the colors inside that much? Not nearly as much as I might have liked. So you'll see here what it comes with is just like these two rows of an Urban Sketch palette. And no matter what the outside tin colors, like I picked the apricot, but if you pick gold, it would have the same colors inside. Then you can add your own colors underneath here because there's an empty row, and you can see these are all kind of, I've hit pan on pretty much all of these. This purple from Rosa Gallery, I will never hit pan on because it is just so vibrant and so much of it goes such a long way. But I think, for instance, this is Roman Szmal's Cherry Quinacridone Red that I've been loving, and there's still some left. But the Urban Sketch palette itself, I want to use it more, but I haven't. I just have so many others that are my go-to. So again, I guess I regret spending full price on it. If I had got it at a pretty steep discount, I might not have felt that way, but then I shouldn't feel that way because at least the money went to a small business because The only place that this is carried in Canada is Gortzman's, who I mention a lot. Gortzman's is my go-to stuff. I'm not being paid to say this, I'm not sponsored, but Gortzman's is my go-to local family-owned art supply business here. And on that note, the one small relief that I have in buying a lot of these things that I didn't, that I didn't really click with is that at least that I bought, I think, all of them, I think, from Gortzman's. So at least I was supporting a small business rather than just like tossing away money on huge hauls from places I'm not gonna name, you know what they are. I don't wanna go on a whole buy local, buy from small business rant, but well, I think we're all doing the best that we can. So with that said, I'm gonna link up the products below, once again, with the proviso that I would love for you to support your local art store, but that's not for everybody. I will link these up as best I can because I know people are like in remote areas or, or sometimes they have an issue accessing some of these supplies. And you know what? I wanna be real here in the spirit of talking about Christmas and just talking about these things. Let's get completely real. It is a complete privilege to say that you didn't like these supplies and some of them were kind of pricey. I've heard from many people in the comments, and so I just want to say that I know that these videos probably are so obnoxious to some of you. I've had people comment from India, from Argentina, how difficult some of these supplies are to lay your hands on and the astronomical price that they are. So I just want to make sure that I am acknowledging that. I don't want to come off as some sort of snob who just thinks that they can buy whatever they want and just toss it. I will not be tossing these, and so circling back to my earlier point, I am going to find a way to use these. I really am. I mean, some of them I've used up, like the notebook from Strathmore, like this large size, like this book is completed. It was a bit of a struggle because I kind of wanted to reach for a smaller size at some point. I will find a use for this, or I will make sure it goes to a good home. These are watercolor paints that if I don't use them this year, it's not really a big deal. I will get to them eventually, and I can mix them. That's of course the thing too with watercolor paints. Like if you're not loving a specific paint color, you can always mute it a bit or just obviously add another color to create whatever you want, basically. I definitely have enough to do that. Mixing is just like one of the fun aspects of watercolor. But I will do my best because I don't believe in buying things and just kind of tossing them and never giving them a second thought. I'm really careful about that, and that's why I'm making this entire video. Okay, if you would leave me a like, consider subscribing if you enjoyed this. And if you could comment something, anything, even if you just want to leave me like an emoji of some sort, that really does help surface this video in the algorithm. And thank you for spending your time here with me. I know that everybody's busy this month, so I really appreciate it. We'll see you in the next video.